Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome to my hobby blog. I am so excited for this video today. This has been a long time coming. For about a year or so, I have been watching these movies, rewatching them when I try to, get back into the series and try to rewatch them to remind myself. And eventually I got past that. I stopped rewatching them because I thought I was going to watch all 12 of these films very quickly. And what films am I talking about? I'm talking about this massive Scream Factory box set, which I got last year for my birthday. It is the Friday the 13th box set, which I'm very happy to own. This is probably I wouldn't say my crown jewel, but I am very happy that I own it. It comes with all 12 films, including bonus features disc kind of on this side, and I think an essay booklet. I'm not really sure what that is, but today we are going to do a ranking video of all these films, and I'll just go ahead and say I don't have many thoughts on some of them, so they'll be quick, but I'll give kind of my least favorite to my favorite entry of these films. And it feels like such a big weight on my shoulder to finally be done with these films. I have been watching these movies off and on for quite a number of years. I had the pretty, I wouldn't say awful, but pretty lackluster release that had the first 8 films, which incidentally are the most popular films in the franchise, is what I've heard. I think I agree. I'm looking at my list now, and everything after 8 are my least favorite. But we'll, as I'm talking here, I'll try to kind of sort these. I should have sorted these in the beginning, but no well. I am not a huge slasher fan. I should go ahead and say that. I have always enjoyed the genre, but I have no sort of heavy loyalty to the genre. There's a few Vinegar Syndrome titles like Madman. I saw an awesome one just the other night called Grave Robbers by Rubian some Junior Calindo, Rubian Calindo, and that one was probably my favorite of the non Friday 13th slashers. But I did not. I don't usually enjoy the slasher genre. I think all of it just tries to be like Jason, which Jason is kind of a great character. He comparing him to say Freddy, which there is a movie where he fights Freddy. He Freddy just is a much better character in my opinion. I've always enjoyed him a lot more, but what is this? I'm trying to reorganize these as I go. Maybe I just have a stack, so I'll just go through them. So my least favorite of the, franchise has to be, of course, the reboot or the remake, Friday the 13th, released in 2007, 2009. I remember this coming out. I was, 12 or 13 when this came out because I was born in 96, late 96. But I did not like this movie at all. I only watched the first half of it. This is probably the most detailed of my Letterboxd reviews that I'm kind of relying on, but my big issue with it is that I thought I did not like before the title card, because we have the first few, just your typical Friday the 13th movie, but in like the first 20 minutes or so, maybe 35 minutes. No, 15 minutes. It's a short amount of time, 20 to 25 minutes. And I didn't, I thought I didn't like that, but the kills were fun. Um, there was a lot of stupid decisions being made by the characters. The characters weren't overly annoying, but for the most part, I was like, okay, like for this series in general, I have to put on my, my glasses for kind of my, don't go so hard on these movies glasses, because a lot of these movies are very much just the same over and over again. But what separates them for me are the kills and the kind of concepts and ideas that the director brings to the table. And my favorite movie of the franchise has probably the most interesting concept, and probably one of, not my least favorite, but one of the ones kind of in the middle, has a really great concept, but it's not done well, really, at all. And this movie, the remake, was, I had those glasses on for the first like 20 to 25 minutes, and the title card came up, and it said like 6 weeks later. And we had to now follow a new group of people. And I was like, and they were all so much more awful, in my opinion. I did not like them at all, which, you're not supposed to, really, in terms of the slasher genre, because that means that you're not going to be cheering when they're killed off, because that's kind of the main allure to this series, I think, all the kills. Everyone knows the sleeping bag kill. Everyone knows the harpoon through the neck, and I think part one, Kevin Bacon. There are a lot of great kills throughout these films, and this movie had some great kills in the beginning. And then it turned into a 2000s horror movie, and I hated it. I really did not like it, and we had our very caricature, stereotypical characters in this movie. We had these country rural folks who are just so just stereotypical, like just written in a very not tasteless way or tasteful way. And there's a part, and this is around the time when I gave up on this movie. It's around the time where he is like talking to a mannequin, the front top or the top half, and this guy is just like, "Ooh, I love fucking you. I love rubbing you," and he's like rubbing her breasts, the mannequins, and Jason's like behind him with the cloth sack over his head, which is a callback to part two, I guess, part three. I think it's part three, but he is just sitting there and he's watching, and Jason feels totally different, by the way, in this movie. He is running around and sprinting at people and acting like not Jason, I feel like. I don't really know how to explain it well, but he's just watching this country guy just going back and forth with this mannequin. He's like, "Do you remember when you took my virginity? I'm gonna fuck you real good tonight." And I was like, oh my god, what is this movie? What the fuck am I watching? And he gets killed, and it was practical effects. I like that. He gets the butcher knife, butcher blade through his head, and I was like, yeah, this is great. And Jason bends over and is like, oh no, my sack head is torn in half. I can't use it anymore. Reaches over, pulls the top, and there's the hockey mask. And I was like, I just had Star Wars prequel flashbacks of them having to explain every single thing. And when that mask came up, I was just like, oh, that's how he got the mask. Okay. And I just gave up. I just had no energy left. I just did not want, I have no motivation to continue on. After he found the mask, I was like, oh, okay. I was like, now the rest of the movie is going to be like every other Friday 13th movie, but in the 2000s style, which I don't like the 2000s for the horror films. In terms of the mainstream ones, the indie ones are much better, and the foreign ones. But this movie was just awful. I really did not like it. But I really liked the first 20 minutes or so before the title caption. And I was really like enjoying it. It was like a Friday 13th short film. That's how it felt, and it was great. And they even find the head of Freddy or Jason's mom, and they're like, "Oh shit!" and they like toss it, and Jason is like stabbing through the floor and impaling the guy like 20 different times. Like, I enjoyed it in hindsight because I didn't realize how awful it was going to turn, and they spend like 30 minutes or something just wandering. And I was watching the killer cut, by the way, which I looked it up, and apparently it's a lot more background focused, where they're just explaining the history of everything, which, I mean, I didn't feel like it was any different than the other Jason films, but maybe the theatrical cut is better, but I doubt it. Theatrical cuts of any 2000 movies were always much worse than the unrated or the director's cuts. So that was my least favorite. I really did not like that movie. It was pretty awful. I'm kind of happy that I ended up not watching it in theaters because I do have memories of me wanting to go see it because I never seen a Friday 13th film. I knew they were bloody, so I loved blood back then. I mean, I still do now, but as a 12, 13-year-old boy, yeah, like blood was awesome. But so happy I didn't see it. The next movie, I gotta find it in the stack. I'm trying to find it. Okay, here we go. This is my second to last ranking, and now I'm going to the screenshot of the Letterboxd review so I know what I'm talking about. This is going to be part 7. I did not like part 7 at all. I thought the beginning was really bizarre, and I was just fine with it, but I think it's that one where the one counselor kills everyone in the beginning. All these movies I've watched over a year, so I don't have the best recollection of these movies. But what I wrote here on my Letterboxd review was that I didn't care for it at all. I really did not like this movie. I remember hearing about how this movie was completely butchered by the studio because Friday the 13th had such a reputation of being violent and bloody and not good for kids, and the studio was like, okay, we need to take out the blood and all the violence in these movies. So every time there's a kill in this movie, they cut away right before someone is killed, and we see the aftermath, and it's always someone on a tree or whatever, with the arms out. Sometimes they don't have legs, sometimes the throat is cut, sometimes there's blood. But apparently the studio just deleted all of those shots where Jason was actually killing them, because they did film it like any other Friday 13th movie, but they took out all of the impact shots of the blade, or I guess ramming them into the tree, whatever Jason does. And I was so disappointed by that. But the one thing that I did like in this movie that I noted was that we have the doctor from Tammy and the T-Rex in this film, and he gets a circular saw to his face. And that was really cool, except we didn't get to see it happen. We just saw the aftermath, and his head is like split in half, like down the middle, all the way to like his lips. And it's like awesome, it looks great, but we didn't see it happen. So I just did not care for this film at all. I really did not like it. I thought it could have been much better if it would probably be in my the top half, the top 6, I guess, of the series had they kept all those shots. And it's such a shame that it's been lost now, because there's VHS, I think, rips of it, of someone like filming like whenever they were screening it. That's like the only clips that are still around of it. So we'll never see like a restoration of part 7 with the original cuts. I remember when this box set was announced, everyone was like, oh my god, did they find it? Did they find it? and they had to just be like, yeah, no, we did not find the missing footage that we had filmed. They had asked everybody involved in the cast and crew, and they did not find it. So it was just really sad. That would have been a really great, I guess, just a better film in my opinion. But nonetheless, let's go on to my third to last. So number 10, I guess. And this is going to be a movie that I'm getting a bit of, I think this was better on thinking back, but while watching it, I did not like it at all. This is going to be Jason X. This is the space one. I really like the concept. I was excited to finally watch this because nobody likes it. And I understood it while watching it. We do get a really fun David Cronenberg cameo in this film right at the beginning. And I love David Cronenberg. I'm always happy to see him. So he was also in Nightbreed. And there was a movie I just got on Vinegar Syndrome that is the final movie that that I haven't seen that stars him in an acting role. But Jason X, while watching it, was terrible. I thought it was very dry, very boring, very slow paced. None of the characters were at all interesting to me. I really like the idea of a Jason being in space, like that's fun, but they didn't really utilize that concept well. At least that's how I felt. And the kills were not even that good. There's a fun bit in the beginning when, before he's cryogenically frozen, where I think a scientist intern is like, we have to wait, we can't do this or whatever. And he's like, capitalism wants Jason back or whatever. And they bring him back on accident. Or they're going to transport him from Crystal Lake Laboratories or something like that to like another laboratory to like study his rejuvenating flesh, because he never dies. That's kind of the fun concept throughout the series, is that he's like supernatural. But this movie was just not fun. But there is a fun part during that time that I forgot that I was talking about, is that a woman is frozen, one of the scientists is frozen when he breaks out, and she is also frozen. And when they come back in 400 years, because this movie takes place in the 2400s or whatever, these scientists people open the pod and they see her and Jason and someone else, I think the male scientist, and one of them gets pushed over and they shatter into like a million pieces. Like, that was fun. I have nothing else to say about this movie. Jason X was just okay. I'm trying to find where to put the movies I've already discussed. Okay, here we go. So, right there. And then my next one is Letterboxd keeps crashing every time I do it, so I apologize for the delays. Okay, that's what the next one is. Okay. So this next one is one I was very much looking forward to because I love the other character. This is, I guess, pick number 9. Yes. Freddy versus Jason. I was very excited for this. When did this come out? 2003. I have a very faint memory of this coming out, because I had seen the Nightmare on Elm Street movie by that point when the movie came out, and I was like, oh my god, it's Freddy. And I've always been more of a Freddy fan because he's just more likable. He's more fun, in my opinion. Jason is somewhat fun in terms of just his drive to kill everyone who's having sex. And this movie was just okay. um, that's exactly the wording I used, was that it was just okay. I will say, and I'm ashamed to say it, but this is the only movie that I actually fell asleep during. I was so bored throughout this movie, kind of in the middle portions, because the beginning is fun when they are establishing Freddy and Jason, and then it becomes like a Godzilla movie, kind of, where they're like, we gotta bring Jason back. Freddy is haunting our dreams. We gotta bring Jason. He can deal with it, and it's so stupid, and I'm okay with that. I love that, but the entire middle portion is your typical 2000s horror film, where they heavily rely on CGI in this movie because I guess they were still kind of thinking they could do anything they want, and it just came off as really lazy, in my opinion. But there were a few scenes of practical effects in this that I really enjoyed, but it was nice to see Robert Englund back as Freddy. I mean, I think this is the last Freddy film that was made. I think Nightmare on Elm Street 7, New Nightmare, I think that was the last one. And then after that, because that one was mid 2000s or late 2000s before Wes Craven died. And that one, I love that movie. One day I'll do a ranking of it. I have a very hard time watching part 6, New Freddy's Revenge, I think. But Freddy, it's just so nice to see him again in a movie I hadn't seen before. And there is a kind of tease at the end of part 7, I think, maybe part 6, where Freddy or Jason comes out of the water and he's holding Freddy's head, and Freddy's head winks at him, and it was fun, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to watch it. And then there was another movie like between these two, and I was like, oh, like, where's Freddy? I thought Freddy versus Jason was next, but it was fine. This movie might get better on rewatch. I don't know. There are so many special features on every single movie. I mean, even on this alone, that whole red banner are special features. And that's for like one of the least favorite movies of the franchise. And there's a lot. So that's really it for number 9. Number 8, of course it crashed, is going to be, I think it's, oh, okay, this one might shock people, but this is going to be Friday the 13th, part 2. I loved it on my first watch. I really enjoyed it. I felt like it was a part 2 to the original Friday the 13th movie. But then I rewatched it because for the first like 3 or 4 movies, I kept rewatching them in the last couple years. And especially once I got this box set, I was rewatching them a lot. Because every time I wanted to go through the whole series, I would start from the beginning and then go through them. And I would always burn out in a particular one, which I'll discuss later. But part 2 I loved back then. And I don't know, I guess this watch I just really did not like it. I love the ending. I love when our main character puts on the sweater of Jason's mom. I love that a lot. But it is really cool. I really love the cinematography in this movie too. And I guess I should say that we're almost to the halfway point of where everything after this movie I like a lot, and I don't have many gripes about. But this movie has just enough issues that I have that it's on the bottom half. And this movie starts off with our main character from the last movie after she was pulled back into the lake by Freddy, or Jason, I mean. I keep mixing them up. It's just the most boring names. But Jason pulls down our main character at the end of the part 1. And in part two, it starts off with her in the hospital thinking like she dreamed all that, and she's insisting to the doctors that it happened, and they kill her off like instantly in the movie, and so immediately I didn't like it when I was rewatching it, and because I've seen it about 3 times now. And the first watch was during a marathon that I was doing, and I didn't really have any concept of the series. I was going in blind, and that's not a good idea, in my opinion. I think you need to really just talk with fans of the series, get the ideas of which entries are best, or what they think is best, and what they think are worse. So, but I really did not like the beginning of this movie, and I think it's fine after that for about half of the movie, and then in the last, I think, 30 minutes, it really picks up, and I really start to enjoy it. So that is Friday the 13th Part 2. That is spot number, I guess, 8. Number 7 is going to be Friday the 13th. I don't know what part, but Jason Goes to Hell. This one, I love the concept of it, but I really felt that the pacing was just really stop and go. Like I felt like I was in a car and someone was like stepping on the gas, braking, stepping on the gas, braking, and it was just really like all over the place in terms of the pacing. But I really enjoyed the kills in this movie. And again, I love the concept, and I can't remember what it is right now, but let me read it. Yeah, I think in the beginning there's even a montage where he's in hell and they spit him back out, and I think I just really loved that. And I have no memory of what happens in this movie. This is definitely one of those entries where, while I was watching it, I was having fun. I enjoyed the kills. The pacing sucked and was not at all well made in terms of the pacing, but or well paced. But I really have no recollection of what happened in this movie. But I'm trying to figure out which entry this one is. So that is Jason Goes to Hell. Okay. I don't know what part this is. I think it's... I'm all over the place. I apologize. Okay, I need to edit this listing because I have it backwards. So the next movie is one that a lot of people hate in the series, and I did not hate it at all. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movies. There's 5 in my hand. Oh, okay. Oh no, that's the remake. New beginning. Where did I set this? Okay. We're now getting to the last 6 movies. This is the last half where I thought I had a great time while watching it. Some of them were due to me just having a lot lower expectations. But I need to pull up. Okay, there's my review. So this is going to be the movie that nobody likes. This is Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan. I kept wanting to say Jesse. But this is Jason Takes Manhattan, and this is a movie that is hated by almost everybody. And I thought it was just good. I thought it was good. I really kind of enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the boat ride scenes when they were going to Manhattan. And I know Jason becomes a joke at the end of the movie. At least that's how I felt. He's very goofy in this movie, where he's just kind of kicking over boom boxes, and it's just really just goofy in the last kind of act of the movie, which I thought was fine. I was okay with that, but I really enjoyed the first half of the movie. And it was really funny because this is kind of the first movie aside from part 4 where they have a dog and they have a pet for one of our campers. And the entire movie, I was invested into this dog, and I was so worried for it. And it was gone for like 20 or 30 minutes of one time. And I remember I was like, oh my god, what happened to the dog? And it ended up, he just showed up like at the end of the movie. He's like, hey, here I am. And I was like, yeah, he survived. I would have been absolutely heartbroken if Jason just came out of nowhere and was like, fuck you, and like ripped the dog in half. It would have been awesome in concept, but I wouldn't have wanted to watch that. Unless it was like a suburban Sasquatch dog kill. Where, and suburban Sasquatch, the Sasquatch picks up like a West Highland Terrier, which I have had a number of Resties in my life, and I've loved them all. I love Resties, but they pick up this cute little Restie, and then it turns into like a polar bear, like stuffed animal. It's like, roar! And if it's like that, I would have really enjoyed it. But this movie was not as bad as what people say it is. I really felt that after I finished it. I loved before they go to Manhattan, and then while they're in Manhattan, it's fun. But I feel like they really should have amped up the guerrilla filmmaking. Just really, just go on, Central Avenue and just film Jason chasing people. Like, I don't care if there are people off on the sidewalk going and looking at, the camera. You get that a lot in guerrilla filmmaking. I'm okay with it. This movie was not as bad as people say. So the next one is one that I liked in concept a lot. This is one that I'm trying to find the review. What the fuck? I'm so sorry. There it is. Okay, so I think this is the right one. So this is going to be Friday the 13th, part 5. I think it's part 5. B, yep. This is the one where Corey Feldman shows up again in the beginning of the movie, kind of as a flashback, and he digs up Jason just to make sure that he is dead. Because at the end of part 4, he basically becomes Jason, and it's cool in concept. I'll get more into that later, but people texting me. I really thought it was okay. That beginning was okay. I'm not a Corey Feldman fan at all. I have no nostalgia towards him at all. I think he's great in Gremlins, and I don't have any other feelings. What's that movie? Goonies, I think he's okay in, but seeing him in this, I thought this movie was just competently made. It felt fun to watch. I had a great time. Miguel Nunez is in this film, and if you don't know him, he's also in Return of the Living Dead as one of the punks, and he is awesome. He's also in the horror noir documentary where he talks about kind of films starring black characters, and he talks about how although they have the concept of the sacrificial Negro, which is what they talk about in that documentary, about how the black character is always killed off for the white woman character to save her and to, all that. And although he talked about, although he was kind of the sacrifice for the movie, he's like, hey, I was in Friday 13th. Like, obviously he had fun, being in the movie, although he doesn't like the fact that he was kind of the sacrifice for, the main character. But I thought he was really underutilized in this movie. I think he's a really great actor, and there were some really great bits in Return of the Living Dead with him, and they just really don't use him in this movie at all. And I don't. This is 1985. I think Return of the Living Dead was 1986. So I think this was right before he did that. I think a lot of people in this series got the name from these movies, and then went on to do kind of bigger and better things. But I thought it was really well made throughout the movie, but I think the ending was really dumb, in my opinion. There were about 4 or 5 reveals just on top of each other. I remember I was texting Leon, and I was just like, oh my god, what the fuck is going on? And I was like, okay, here's what I think happened at the ending. He's like, yeah, that happened. And I'm like, what? I don't think, what? I was just so confused at the ending, and I was like, I don't know what happened, but okay, this movie's fine. I gave it 3 stars on Letterboxd, which to me is average. It's good. And this was definitely one of them. And I think after this, I don't really need my notes, so I don't need to go back and forth and take time to do that. But the next part, yeah, that's right. Okay, so number 4. I think we're on number 4 now, guys. There's a lot of movies in this fucking series, and most of them are pretty bad, as you can tell from me talking about it. But my number 4 is going to be one that fits really well because it's the same number. It's going to be part 4. I really liked it the first time I watched it. I really enjoyed the family aspect of the movie. That was kind of the only time they ever did that, was having a family on Camp Crystal Lake, where they just hold on. Okay, gotta be fast here. Where the family aspect was probably the only time this has ever been used in this series. And I really enjoyed it. I loved how Corey Feldman's character was like a horror movie guy, and he just really kind of nailed it in that regard. And I know Tom Savini did the makeup effects for this movie, but that ending, I know everybody loves it, but I thought it was good, and that was it. But I think the fact that there were 8 more sequels after this movie just really kind of lessened the impact. If that was the final movie, they never made another Friday the 13th movie, that would have been awesome. I would love this ending, but knowing that there are more just kind of deflates it for me. My number 3 choice is going to be part 3. I really love this one. This one is so goofy and just funny. The first time I watched it, I was so mad about it because they were constantly like, whoa, with the pitchfork, and Freddy or Jason is going right at you, and every now and then they're like, here's a beer, and they put it right up to the camera. This movie is goofy as fuck. I really enjoyed it on rewatch, especially. This was, I think, the 3rd time I watched this, so I really want to rewatch this movie soon. I may watch it with the commentary track, because I love that ending too, where they are in the barn and they're having to use tricks and trying to outsmart Jason, and it's lovely. I love part 3D. I wish I had the glasses for it though. I would kill for glasses for that. The next number 2 is going to be one that was at my number 1 for the longest fucking time, and then the next part, not part 3, but the next movie that I'm showing, I watched it and I just freaked out. I loved it. But this is going to be part 1. I love part 1. I love Kevin Bacon. I love our main character. We have some really great kills in this. We have the guy on the bicycle who is constantly like, there's danger about, and he just pedals away. And he's always creepy. He always just shows up. We have the cop characters who are just showing up and like, you guys gotta be careful out here. Don't call us if there's a killer about. We don't believe you. And they're just going back and forth throughout this movie, getting ready for camp. And oh, it's so lovely. I love part 1 so much. The kills are great in this one too. I know the famous one was the neck going, or the harpoon going through the neck is a straight from a Mario Bava film. I think A Bay of Blood. That's what, I mean, everyone knows that fun fact, but, you know, it goes without saying that I have to say it, so. Which I haven't actually seen Bay of Blood. I've seen a few other Mario Bava films, but, yeah, part 1 is awesome. I love part 1. So that's what is my number 2. And by process of elimination, my favorite movie of the franchise, which I was shocked that people don't like this movie, is part 6. Okay, that they don't have a caption, so it's just Friday the 13th part 6. I love Undead Jason. I love everything about it. I love the concept of it. I love how terrifying he is in this movie. He's actually a supernatural being, an entity in this film. And there's also, I think it's this one, where they are so self-referential throughout this movie. Where we have the gravedigger guy who is like, he's like talking and like looking at someone walking away, and he's like, I hope nothing happens to him, or something like that, like straight to the camera, and I just busted out laughing. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I thought that was like a sign of things to come, and then the movie just turned out awesome. I loved this one. I think part 1 is a lot better made, but this one is my jam. I love Undead Jason. I mean, it was just so awesome. And there's actually like campers in the movie. I think this is the only one that has campers in it. So that was actually really nice. Oh, the title is Jason Lives. I just noticed on the grave tombstone. But oh my god, I love part 6. I did not realize that there's a new commentary track. There are 4 commentary tracks. Oh my god. One of which is by Joe Lynch, who I recognize that name from somewhere. But I also love the, at the end of the movie, the on a boat and everything's on fire. I love that. I think they end up tying him up in chains and just dropping him into the ocean. And so this was part 6. Part 7, I guess, was Jason Goes to Hell. And that one is, I do not like part 7. Although I did rank it like higher than my guilty pleasure ones. Excuse me, hiccups. So, okay. I did not think it would go on this long. I actually have to go out to lunch now. But I really enjoyed this one. I am so happy that I'm done with this series. Now I can just relax and just enjoy them. And so if I have like a radical change in ranking, maybe I'll redo it. Maybe I'll do a live stream and just have everyone come in and we can talk about all of them. But oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be done. This is going up above me somewhere here for a while now. That's gonna be kind of my big like trophy, because what a journey this has been for me. I have been watching these slashers for so many years. Again, Nightmare on Elm Street is definitely my favorite. But I see now why people like Friday the 13th. Although a lot of them are bad. There is always something to have fun with. And I think a couple beers are required to enjoy some of these movies. And maybe a group of people. But I think for the most part, I think we're all here just to see Jason kill people. And most of these movies do that really well. So thank you all so much for watching, and please have a great rest of the weekend.